The rain had been falling since dawn, not the polite kind that taps gently on rooftops, but the heavy, unforgiving rain that soaks clothes, blurs vision, and makes the whole world feel colder than it should. Cars rushed past in streaks of gray and silver, splashing muddy water onto the cracked pavement. Most people hurried along with their heads down, faces buried in coats and umbrellas, focused only on getting where they were going. At the corner of a busy Lagos street, just beside a half-broken bus stop sign, a pregnant woman stood under the open sky. There was no umbrella above her head, no shelter except a thin plastic sheet tied loosely to a wooden pole. In front of her sat a small wooden tray filled with bananas, some still green, some turning yellow, a few already bruised from too much handling. She hawked them with a soft, tired voice, barely audible over the sound of the rain and traffic. "Banana, sweet banana." Her name was Amara. She was 7 months pregnant, her belly heavy and round beneath a faded dress that clung to her body from the rain. Each time she shifted her weight, a quiet ache spread through her back and legs. Her sandals were worn thin, and muddy water crept between her toes. Every few minutes, she wiped rain from her face with the back of her hand, then gently rested her palm on her belly, as if reassuring the life inside her that everything would be all right. People passed her without looking. Some glanced briefly, then looked away faster, as if guilt itself might be contagious. A few drivers rolled down their windows just enough to toss coins or buy a banana, but most sped past, splashing her further, indifferent to her condition. Across the street, inside a black luxury SUV, a man sat watching her. His name was Victor Hale. Victor was a billionaire, one of the youngest in the country, known for his ruthless business deals and cold public image. He wore a tailored charcoal suit, perfectly pressed, and a wristwatch worth more than most houses on that street. His driver waited quietly, hands on the steering wheel, unsure why his boss had asked him to stop here of all places. Victor had just left a high-level meeting where numbers had been discussed with clinical precision, profits, losses, acquisitions, lives reduced to spreadsheets. But now, as he stared through the rain-streaked window, something tugged at him in a way he did not expect. He watched Amara as she struggled to rearrange her bananas, trying to shield them from the rain. He noticed the way she paused every now and then, breathing carefully, as if steadying herself against a wave of discomfort. He noticed how she smiled politely to passers-by, even when they ignored her completely. Victor frowned. He had grown up poor, though few people knew that. He had buried that part of his life under layers of success and silence. But something about the sight of a pregnant woman standing in the rain, selling bananas just to survive, cracked open a memory he had long sealed shut. "Sir," the driver said softly, breaking the silence, "should we move? Traffic is building." Victor didn't answer immediately. His eyes were still fixed on Amara. "No," he finally said. "Wait." The driver nodded, confused but obedient. Victor watched as a man in a clean shirt approached Amara, picked up 2 bananas, and then frowned. "These ones are small," the man said sharply. "I'm sorry, sir. That's what I have today." The man dropped the bananas back onto the tray, scoffed, and walked away without buying anything. Amara sighed quietly. She adjusted the tray again, her hands trembling slightly from the cold. The rain soaked her hair, flattening it against her face and neck. Victor felt an unexpected tightness in his chest. He opened the car door. The rain immediately splashed against his polished shoes as he stepped out. The driver quickly got out too, holding an umbrella. "Sir, the rain." "It's fine," Victor said, waving him off. People began to notice him. Whispers spread quickly. Some recognized him instantly. Others sensed from his posture and clothing that he was someone important. Victor walked across the street, ignoring the stares, until he stood in front of Amara. She looked up, startled. For a moment, fear flashed across her face. Rich men rarely stopped for reasons that ended well for women like her. "Good afternoon, sir," she said politely, forcing a smile. Victor looked at her closely now, not through glass, not from a distance. He saw the exhaustion in her eyes, the way her smile didn't quite reach them. "How much for all the bananas?" he asked. "All of them?"
"Yes." She hesitated, then quickly calculated in her head. "Sir, all of it is 5,000 naira. Victor reached into his pocket and pulled out a thick wad of cash. He counted far more than she had asked for and handed it to her. "Take this," he said. Her eyes widened. "Sir, this is too much." "Take it," he repeated gently. Her hands shook as she accepted the money. She looked at it again, then up at him, tears mixing with the rain on her face. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "God bless you." Victor nodded, but he didn't move away. "Why are you out here in this condition?" he asked quietly. Amara swallowed. She wasn't used to being asked questions. People usually just bought and left. "My husband died last year. Construction accident. I tried staying with relatives, but they already have too much burden. I sell bananas to survive." Victor felt the weight of her words settle heavily between them. "You shouldn't be standing in the rain like this. Not pregnant." She gave a sad smile. "If I don't stand here, sir, I don't eat." Victor was silent for a long moment. Then he did something no one expected. "Come with me," he said. Amara froze. Her heart began to race. "Sir?" "I'm not going to harm you," Victor said, sensing her fear. "I want to help, truly." She looked around nervously at the people watching, at the cars passing by. She placed one hand protectively on her belly. "I can't just leave my spot," she said softly. "Turn to your driver. Pick up the tray." The driver hesitated, then quickly complied, gathering the bananas and placing them in the car. Victor opened the back door and held it open. "Please, let me help you." Something in his voice, calm, sincere, without arrogance, made Amara believe him. Slowly she nodded and stepped toward the car. As the door closed behind her, the rain continued to fall, but for the first time that day, she was warm. They drove in silence at first. Amara sat stiffly, unsure of what to say or expect. The interior of the car smelled faintly of leather and something expensive she couldn't name. It felt like a different world. Victor finally spoke. "Where do you live?" "In a single room in Mushin. The roof leaks when it rains." Victor closed his eyes briefly. When the car stopped, it was not at his mansion, but at a private hospital. Amara's heart leapt in fear. "Sir, I don't have money for hospital." "You don't need it. I do." She was escorted inside, examined by doctors, given warm clothes and offered food. For the first time in weeks, Amara ate without worrying about tomorrow. Victor paid for everything, checkups, vitamins, future delivery costs without hesitation. But he didn't stop there. Over the next few days, he arranged for Amara to be moved into a small but clean apartment. He ensured she had a steady supply of food, prenatal care, and a stipend to live comfortably. When Amara asked why he was doing all this, Victor gave a simple answer. "My mother once stood in the rain, selling oranges while pregnant with me. No one helped her. I promised myself I would never walk past someone like that." Amara cried when she heard that. Months later, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Victor was there, standing quietly at the back of the room, not as a billionaire, but as a man keeping a promise to his past. And as Amara held her child, she realized that sometimes destiny sends help in unexpected forms, through a stranger who chooses to see, to care, and to act. If this story touched your heart, remember there are countless real-life stories like this happening every day. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more powerful and inspiring stories. And thank you for watching.